Hi everybody, it's Rémy like Do-Re-Mi, best-selling author of Living Life as an Exclamation Point. And today we're talking to Chuck Goetschel, one of my favorite people. He is the author of Simon Says and the creator of the Personal Passion Formula. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, Remy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Why don't you tell us about this title, Simon Says, how you came up with that?
Oh, Simon Says. Well, I'm playful at heart, so it's the kids' game, right? Remember the Simon Says, touch your nose, Simon Says, raise your hand. Well, that is a great game, and I've got three little kids that are 9, 8, and 7, and then I've got a 1-year-old little girl.
Oh.
And so I guess effectively 4 kids, but I think of the baby as the baby.
Yeah.
And they love that game. You know, they love playing Simon Says, and it's a fun game for kids. But the problem is most people are still playing that game as adults. In other words, they're still doing what somebody else suggests that they do with their life. They're, you know, hey, here's where you should work, here's where you should live, here's what you should buy, here's what you should do. You know, Simon says do these things and everybody follows. And so what this book is all about was the idea of stop playing the Simon Says game. You know, actually figure out what it is that you want to do with your life. What are you called to do with your life? What are you designed to do with your life? And this is a discovery process, this book, really to help unfold yourself and stop playing the Simon Says game and start living your life purpose.
And you're working on a new book now, is that right?
I am. Very good. Yes, thank you. The Anatomy of a Comeback. It's the whole idea of having a comeback. Right now is, you know, some difficult times, obviously, financially and otherwise. People are really going through some tough times, and then many people need a comeback. And so a lot of people would say, well, how would I go about a comeback? Where would I even begin? And so that's what this latest book is about, is literally the anatomy. We break down a comeback and give you a step-by-step process of how to make things happen in your life.
Awesome. So what have you been up to lately, and what's coming up besides the book?
Well, appreciate you asking. Lots has been happening. With the release of the Personal Passion Formula, which is, you know, a course that was geared towards entrepreneurs to be able to make money online around their passion. So it was a formula to make money online around your passion. And through that process, a lot of people were asking me, well, can you help me make more money from online customers with the passion I already have? And that's my offline business. A lot of people have businesses that they've been running for years, and they're realizing it's time to get some online traffic. And so what we did is we actually, a few really smart partners of mine, I mean really smart guys, I pulled together, which is a key to success, right? Surround yourself by some really smart people. And we formed a marketing company. And so today we're helping people, offline, local offline businesses, receive that online traffic they deserve.
That's fabulous. You know, I did the Personal Passion Formula. I think my cat's going to want to say hello here on camera in a minute.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
This is
a family-run business.
One of my passions is working from home, so I get to spend time with him, but he has a radar sometimes. Sorry. So I've done the Personal Passion Formula. It was fabulous. You had, what, 150 interviews or something like that, little mini workshops.
Yes, yes, from over 20 different instructors around the world. Yeah, the best of the best.
It was incredible because I have not caught up to the world of social media, for instance, and it was nice that you chose people who were not only experts, but they also knew how to break it down into little pieces that we could understand. Yeah,
well, thank you. Yeah, I know that it's a lot of learning for everybody in today's world, and so I wanted to bring together some great experts that are really good teachers that could help people get up to speed.
Yeah, well, I think it's fabulous because you really do help people get their passions off the floor and not just in their idea book.
Right.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I want to talk to you about a concept I call the 3 levels of living. Right now, more than ever, is probably one of the greatest stressful periods in our history. Yeah. The economy is hurting people, and it has all kinds of tensions that get created in the family and everywhere else because of all the different stresses that we're dealing with. And so, there's your cat.
I'm trying to be subtle, but he just really wants to be in the picture.
Oh, that's great. It's an actor at heart. And that's really what it's about. It's about helping people discover in the midst of what I would say is a tragic time to make it be a turning point time so that people can truly turn their lives onto a path and live a higher level of living. Like your cat wants to be an actor really badly. Well, perhaps we should get him on that track. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Is about there's 3 different levels of living. And people don't even realize necessarily what level they're on. They never even consider the concept. But every time I've gone through this concept, light bulbs go off. Yeah. And people do have a choice now of living a life that's going to be a lot more meaningful. Yeah.
Well, very good. So let's go through the 3 levels. You put it into a little chart.
Yes, I did. I know you like things simple.
I do.
And so I put together this little chart right here. Can you see that okay?
Yes, it has 9 dimensions, and tell us what's across the top and what's across the side.
Okay, so across the top we just have 1, 2, and 3. These are the 3 different levels of living.
Yes.
And the very first area that we're going to focus on is what is the goal, then what is the focus, and what's the results. So let's just talk about what most people are doing right now, and that is they're living life kind of by default. However they just fell into it. A lot of it's by Simon Says. They took the advice of people, and now here they are in their life. And I would say for most people, they would say to themselves, this is not what I had expected at this point in my life. Right? This is when I was a little kid, when I said, man, when I'm 30, when I'm 40, when I'm 50, 60, whatever, this is not where I expected to be. Yeah. And a lot of that is because they just let life happen to them, and rather than taking charge and designing a life worth living is a life worth planning. So let's talk about level 1. Level 1. The goal of level 1, I'm just going to write it in here and then I'll show you. The goal of level 1 is really simple. You see that word?
It says, no, I can't see it. What does it say?
Okay, it says survival. It says survival. The whole idea that most people today, the last thing they want to think about is living with passion and purpose. They're like, hey, I'm trying to survive, right? Yeah. I'm trying to pay the bills. And so the goal for most people right now is survival. And I'll tell you what, Rémy, the survival is not a goal, right? I mean, it just isn't. It's like, man, I hope I survive another day today. I just hope. That's no way to live, but that's how most people live.
Yeah, it could be somebody coming fresh out of college. It could be somebody who's just been laid off. It could be somebody who's recently divorced. I mean, life can throw you into survival in a number of ways.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't mean to diminish the challenges and the reality of tough times. And I've been through them, as you know. I've had my share of challenges and surviving moments. But in the midst of even surviving, I love the old quote that rather than trying to survive the storm, learn to dance in the rain. Oh. Right? Yeah. And it's such a profound truth that we are constantly trying to survive. And it's like, oh, I'll be happy when. You know what? If you say that, you'll be happy never. Yeah. All right? Because life's constantly throwing stuff at you. So we've got to get out of this survival mentality. Yes. And the focus for most people when they're trying to survive is right here. See that?
That's work.
It says work. All we want to do is work, right? So like you said, somebody get out of college, I got to find a job. Somebody gets laid off, I got to find a job. People are so consumed by their work, and understandably, because that's what pays the bills, right? But when you ask people, so tell me about yourself, what do they say?
This is what I do for a living.
Right. Yes. They say, I am a doctor. I am an attorney. I am a truck driver. That's the first thing that comes out of their mouth is what they do for a living. Yes. I love when people ask me, so what do you do? And I go, oh, I play with my kids.
You don't ever hear that.
Yeah, I work out. I'm a husband. Yeah. They're like, no. What do you do for earning income? Oh. Another subject, right? Because I'm not necessarily defined totally by my work, right? It's a part of my life, but it's not necessarily who I am. And so what we do is all we do is focus on work. We're constantly thinking about work, looking for work, talking about work. That's going to cause us just to be in that survival mentality. And the result is real simple. And it's what most people are dealing with right now. Can you read that word?
Stress.
Stress. It's stress. It is a stressful life. And that's why you just go to bed and you wake up in the morning and you leap out of bed because you're excited for another stressful day. Not exactly.
You almost could have written that in blood or even sweat or tears, I guess.
Exactly. And let me tell you, is it not true? I mean, this is what most people are doing. They're thinking about survival, they're looking for work, and they're living stressfully, right? That's what their life is, and that's a default life. That's a pattern. That's the world beats us up. Yeah. Little kids, we have all these dreams, we say, man, I'm going to conquer the world. Life's going to be wonderful. But we didn't plan on the divorce. We didn't plan on the layoff. We didn't plan on all these different things, and it just happened. And then what happens is we end up in this spiral. We're just trying to get through another day.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's get to something more exciting. All right. So here's what happens. I'm going to write the next word. What people do is they say, okay, yeah, I agree, Chuck. I don't want to just survive. And they start dreaming for a little bit, right, about this word right here. What's that?
That is...
Can you see that?
Spell it out for us.
Success.
All right.
Right? Success. I don't know if I'm holding the right spot. Sorry about that. But success. Right? We dream about success. Oh, one day, you know, I could have the lifestyle. And success is different. Some people think of success as all the material things. Other people think of success as just security or travel or family time, whatever it is. But you dream of success. Everybody has a picture of that. Most people, quite frankly, you know, have been so beat up, they don't want to dream about success anymore. It's scary. Why get my hopes up, right? I don't want to get that down.
Yeah.
And that's no way to live either, you know. So the idea is, you know, I want to encourage people to really dream again and think about what is success to you. Define it in your own terms. Don't let the world tell you what success is. That's a whole other trap. But when people are thinking about success, their focus changes. Instead of just looking for work, they start looking for something else. I'm going to write it down here. Here it is. And since you probably can't see this, but the word is...
Opportunities.
Opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? Opportunities.
The chart is good. My eyesight isn't so great without my glasses on.
That's fine. No problem.
I keep looking for the opportunity to see better, but with age, it's just not happening.
I hear you loud and clear. I had a little experience the other day with my 7-year-old son. He said, tell me this is so small you can't read it. He's like, it's easy to read, Dad. I'm like, oh, boy. So opportunity. Right? After a while, we say, you know what? It's not just about work. I got to find a great opportunity. And we're opportunity seekers. And we start looking for ways to make more money. And let me just say, by the way, I'm all about all the different levels. I'm not just suggesting that dreaming of success is wrong, even though it's a second level. Everybody should have multiple streams of income. I mean, I have certain investments that are purely opportunity driven. They don't do anything for me emotionally, but they're a great way in which I can create additional income.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my little disclaimer here. But the challenge is when you're looking for opportunities, you fall into the bright, shiny object syndrome, right? Where you're constantly looking for the next greatest thing. And oftentimes you're too late. Oftentimes the things that seem hot were hot because people got involved in them, and now you're kind of on the tail end of that curve. Or it's just not you. It's not your talent. It's not your gifts. It's certainly not your passion. It's just a way to make money. And all you're doing is seeking success. Even if you achieve it, here's the challenge.
It's funny that you mention this because so often when we're in that survival work stress mode, people say, when you make enough money, then you can take advantage of opportunities when they come along. So you've got this kind of in the back of your head all the time. Ooh, it's an opportunity. Now I can take advantage of it without looking to see, is it really going to satisfy you in your heart?
Well, and that's it. And that's where we're obviously going here. And there's a really important reason a lot of people don't talk about why that's so important. But yeah, so what they do is they just look for the next greatest thing that everybody's talking about, right? It's that opportunity seeker. Harv Eker, a friend of mine, he was talking about the fact that he had 14 different businesses that he started and failed, one after another. Why? Because he was constantly looking for the next greatest opportunity. And none of them were about him. None of them were about his heart, his talents, his passions, his experiences, none of those things. And so what he finally realized was, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
I'm a failure. What am I dreaming for? Why am I even trying? And he just finally gave up.
Yeah.
And it was only through a series of helping out his mother that we'll talk about a little bit later that led him to solve something that ended up creating the basis for his multi-million-dollar empire that he has around the world today. And so he fell into the same trap so many people do. Opportunity seeking. And even if you succeed, the challenge is the end result, which is what you're already touching on, is that you have this word, which isn't anything wrong with it. Do you see that word there?
Comfort.
It says comfort. You end up with a comfortable life.
Yeah.
And I'm all for comfort. Look, I've had a lot of money and I've had no money. And guess which one I like better?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes, too, we just don't define success. We don't know what that is for us. We live on somebody else's definition of success.
Oh.
And, yeah.
So true. Absolutely. And society scores it by the things typically, which, again, some things are nice. I'd rather have a car that doesn't break down than one that does. I'd rather have one that's safer than one that isn't, So of course, but that isn't really ultimately what we're looking for, because ultimately deep down, We know we came into this world with nothing, and we're going to leave with nothing, right? As the old saying goes, you never seen a hearse, but you pull in a U-Haul, right? You're not bringing stuff with you. And so it's great to be comfortable through your life, but that isn't really what we're seeking. We're seeking a deeper, something deeper, and that's what you keep hitting on. And everything you do, every time you talk, that your book, everything's about that something deeper. So comfort is great, but how many successful people do you know that are sitting there comfortable and they're not happy?
Oh, yeah.
There's something missing. They say there's still something more. I don't get it. I'm unsettled, right? I'm comfortable. I've got all this stuff. I should be really just settled and deeply fulfilled, but I'm not.
You know, there was a time when I was making so much money, I used to laugh and tell my friends, I feel like I make more money than God. And yet there were so many days that I would have given anything just to throw my cell phone in the ocean because it wouldn't stop ringing. So I had the money, I had the comfort, I had my closet was full and a nice car, all these things, and yet I still had that bit of stress left over from that first dimension.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, we always do. We always carry that. And some people are actually running away from the fear of that stress again towards, that's why some people succeed. And that's the wrong motivation as well, right? Yeah. And that leads to other issues. But the thing that I wanted to touch on today is, and this is so difficult for people, especially when they are so stressed out, is I want to challenge people to go beyond just dreaming about success, whatever that definition is for you, and go to that highest level of living, that third level of living. And that third level is this right here. Significance. Yeah. It's significance. Instead of just surviving or just even dreaming about success. And again, I'm all for success, but let's focus on a life that's significant. Yeah. That's significant. Now, this is really huge because only through significance are you going to end up with the result that we're actually all after. Let me just write this out and we can talk about it.
Yeah, this is where you're living a life that makes a difference. This is where you start putting, focus on others on the planet on this ride with us instead of just our own selfish, I want to fill up my closet and drive the nicest car routine.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
right. And that's really what we're here for, right? Is to serve other people and to make a difference. So the focus has got to be this. Instead of opportunities, that says solving problems. See, it's a shift in thinking. Instead of, hey, what opportunity can I find to make money, and what widgets can I sell so that I make this money so I can be successful? Now it's, how can I help somebody? How can I solve a problem? And back to T.R. Vector's example, his mom had a challenge with some exercise equipment. She needed a certain equipment. He figured out a way which he could provide that for her in home, and that led to other people might need that. And so by helping his mom, by solving a problem for his mom, it was literally the trigger that helped him focus now on solving other people's problems, and that changed his whole mentality from trying to be successful with some opportunity of pushing something out to trying to simply serve people and solve their problems. So here's the key. The key is, if you want to make more money, which is a big topic right now, stop trying to make more money and start focusing on providing more value.
Yes. Yeah.
Start focusing, raise your value, serve more people, solve more problems, you'll make more money. Money needs to be the byproduct of the result of what you're focused on. Totally changes everything.
Yeah. You know, we had this conversation the other day about Bill Gates and how many problems did he solve in the world? How many people did he affect? And, you know, yes, at the end of the day, he may have had the fulfillment that comes as a product of all this. Not just because he created Windows and became this, celebrity or whatever, but now he gets to put all of his money into his real passion, which, is education.
Right, absolutely.
So,
and tell me the difference that he feels as he knows he's making a difference in the world of education. What does that do for him? Because deep down, that's what this is, solving problems, right? This is the deep last point, right? This is the box we want to get to, and that is fulfillment. We go from surviving on the top here down to fulfillment.
Yes.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all that all of us want. We want to be deeply fulfilled, and the only way to be deeply fulfilled is to use your passions, your talents, your gifts, your experiences to serve other people to solve their problems.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more you're going to be richly rewarded, not just financially, but the one thing that finances can't buy, and that's fulfillment.
Yeah.
Finances can buy happiness. We can buy a car, it makes me happy for a few minutes, but it never will buy me that deep-seated fulfillment because I'm doing what I was called to do, what I was designed to do.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It's a contribution that we have to make to the planet. That's why we're here.
That's right.
So I know I've asked you this before. If someone is still on level 1, do they have to go through level 2 to get through level 3?
Right. No, absolutely not. That's a great question. And again, I encourage you to experience all levels, but why? Why would you don't have to step through. The key is to sit down and actually start doing what I say, some internal analysis, right? What is it that you're all about? What are your passions? What makes you really excited, or what makes you really angry? That's typically a trigger. Like we talk about it as like a gauge in a car. As a gauge moves, it's identifying something. It's giving you feedback. What makes you excited? Yeah. What makes you angry? What talents do you have? What do people come to you, talking to you about, asking you about? Because those tend to be your natural gifts. Or what experiences have you gone through? This is a big one. People go through stuff that are so difficult in their life, and they go, man, that was awful. Was it? But now you have an experience where you can turn around and help other people. Maybe you went through that so that you can use that to serve other people. Yeah. So you kind of do that internal analysis and figure out all those things that you're about, and then you can jump straight to living a life of significance, even on a small scale, where you start using those things to solve people's problems, and you're going to feel that deep fulfillment.
It's just occurring to me, Chuck, that this doesn't even have to be a big lifetime deal. You can actually go through these levels in a small period of time, and I'll tell you why I say that. There's a family on the corner just behind me, and every single weekend they're out selling lemonade. And it's so funny because we're having a little bit of cooler weather right now, and I hear them, lemonade, lemonade, all day long, right? And one day I felt like, I'm going to do my civic duty and go by and get a glass of lemonade, whatever it cost, I didn't even know. And it was pretty in their little table, and Dad was there to help them, but there was a bug in my cup. And so I handed it back, and I said, there's a bug in my cup. Are you sure this is the glass of lemonade you want to sell me? And the little kid looked in the glass. He looked up at his dad, and he looked back at me, and he said, but it's kind of a pretty little bug. And I thought, that's so funny. He's gone through all the levels, from thinking about work and making money and maybe the stress at the end of the day of not being able to buy his little game, all the way to fulfillment, because he handed me this glass with this beautiful little bug in it.
Isn't that great? And he was so proud.
He was so proud. I mean, he must be getting some fulfillment, or he wouldn't still be doing that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I cannot drive past the lemonade stand. Of course, I go in there and ask them all the questions. What are your goals? Why are you doing this? They're like, just buy the lemonade. Enough already.
That's so funny. Yeah.
But, the key here, too, is to talk about there's two types of fulfillment. If you do this type of work where you're solving people's problems, right, focusing on this significant work for free, we call that philanthropic work. Right? And I encourage everyone to have a certain part of their life that's all about philanthropy. If you do it for pay, that's called entrepreneurship. Yeah. Right? And there's, again, nothing wrong with either one of those. They're just a different type of fulfillment. To be able to earn income and be deeply fulfilled as an entrepreneur because you're solving people's problems is one thing, and to actually solve problems because it's the right thing to do and because you're able to make a difference through a philanthropic effort is another thing. But either way, you get a sense of deep-seated fulfillment.
So talk to us about what kind of offer do you have for the listeners, viewers, for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my number one offer is truly just to get a bug in your head and be a challenge to you. I want you not to settle for a stressful life, for a life of just survival. And I don't even want you just to dream about success. I truly want you to be a significance, a difference maker. So that's my biggest offer to you, is to just be a bug in your head. Every day, wake up in the morning and say, am I getting up to make a difference? Am I getting up just to survive or just to work? Or am I getting up truly to go make a difference in this world? As small as it may be, at least be on that track. So that's my number one offer, is just to be that bug in your head. But as far as an actual product or something, we've got a couple things. One is, if you're an entrepreneur or entrepreneur mind, or you'd like to be an entrepreneur and make money around your passion online, then I encourage you to jump onto the Personal Passion Formula course. We close it down because we start it as a course, as a group, every so often, and so we're going to be opening that up again. And Remy, I'm going to give you a specific link that will give them a discounted price, better than what the rest of the public gets.
Okay.
So is that something we can just put on here?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Fantastic. And then otherwise, if people have an offline business, they have a orthodontic practice or they have a whatever, then I encourage them to check out our website that can help them get ranked. And it's called SEOorangecounty.co. Not .com, but .co. SEOorangecounty.co. And we'll give them a free analysis and see if we can help them.
Okay, that's perfect. And so for somebody who wants to begin to look for their fulfillment of their passion, give us a couple of early steps they can begin to work on.
Oh, great question. Yeah, this is where I get all excited because it's like the first step is to figure out who you are. Mm-hmm. You know, what were you designed for? It's really interesting. Some people, well, actually most people, will take their talents completely for granted. My wife is one of the funniest people you'll ever meet in your life. And I always count when she meets a new person how many seconds it takes until she makes them laugh. And literally within 30 seconds every time they'll have some sort of laugh. It's a gift. Yeah. She doesn't even know she does it. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because she doesn't think there's any value in that because it's a natural gift of hers. And I'm like, no value in blessing people with fun and humor and lightening their load everywhere that you go. That's huge value. So the first step for everybody here is to say, what are your natural talents? What are your natural gifts? Okay, that's the first thing. What do you tend to be really good at, or what do you enjoy doing that tends to also align with your talents? If you like to do it, oftentimes you're good at it. Not always, but oftentimes. So what are your talents? What are your gifts? The other area to look at is what are your passions? Positive or negative, meaning when's the last time that you did something and you just were so excited, maybe it brought tears to your eyes, you were just so happy, so excited, or time just flew when you're doing it. Last night, I hate to even say it, but at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was doing something entrepreneurial that I just was so excited about I couldn't stop. I actually tried to stop and I couldn't go to sleep, so I got back up and just kept going. That tells you you're in your passion zone. But another area could be something that really upsets you. 2 people could watch a commercial of starving children, and one is deeply affected and tears and crying, and the other person says, that's a shame. Well, they're just wired differently. So the thing that emotionally grabs you, where you say, that's wrong, something needs to happen about that, that's another source of passion. So, real quickly, talents, experiences, things that make you happy, things that make you mad, and then finally experiences, things you've gone through. How can you use those things to really help other people? You'll know if you're be passionate about that, and a lot of times you will be passionate about the things that you've gone through and helping people with it.
Okay, good. And I'm going to add an extra little tip in there. There's a website called theonequestion.com. It's totally free. It's an interactive how to find your passion kind of a website. It'll ask you questions. You put in little answers, and it really stirs up the juices and gets you thinking about it. Right. And then I've done your personal passion formula. I very highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun and kind of broken down to a second-grade education. So I kind of feel like I'm not one of these technical geniuses, maybe in the next life. But it was just for the regular, normal person. It wasn't, you didn't talk over anybody. None of your people did, which I really appreciated.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that course was actually originally triggered from my dad. My dad's 75 years young, I'll say, and he's a nutrition genius. He's incredibly good, but he never was able to get his message out because he was not technically savvy at all. So I started helping him learn how he could get on Facebook, how he can reach the world with his message. And now he's got incredible. He's got a couple thousand different fans and people coaching and all kinds of stuff. And so we created this course really to mimic what I was personally teaching him. And if a 75-year-old guy who doesn't even know how to type, right, can now have a worldwide reach on the internet, then anybody can go through this course and understand it.
That's crazy. Well, very good. Well, thank you for your time today. I appreciate your expertise as always.
Oh, you're amazing. I mean, everywhere you go, you bring the light, you bless people. You're really pulling out the goodness in people and encouraging them to live a life that matters and to live a life of passion and purpose. And I mean, you're one of the good ones on this planet.
I want to make a difference too.
You are making a difference.
Very good. Thank you.
And congratulations on your new best-selling book. That is just awesome how quickly that rose to the top. No surprise, but that's exciting. Congratulations.
You know, it's funny. I ran into a woman the other day, and she took me by the shoulders, and she said, it's like you wrote the book for me. And I tell you, when you're looking for your passion in life and when you do want to make a difference, that's the kind of comment that just means everything.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, you are. Passion.
There you go.
Very good. We'll end the call right here, but stay on the line for me, Chuck.
All right, you bet.
All right.